Thanks for tuning in again. I am going to talk to you tonight about two friends of mine, two men friends of mine. And I want to say that the people that I mention, the memories that I am recording, are all things that had an impact on me. Um, I guess that's why I remember them, right? So these two men were really special and different. And I want to say that I connect with and especially like people that are out of the box type of thinkers, because that's the way I am. I hope you gathered that by now. So the unconventional type. Um, so first I'm going to talk about my friend Shane. I met him at Celebrate Atlanta. And he was in both groups, that group and the Christian group. But I remember when I met him, it was at a concert in Woodstock, one of those free concerts, a Celebrate Atlanta event, and I got him to dance. At first, I asked him to dance, because there was a good band there and everybody's dancing. And I said, "You want to dance?" And he's like, "Oh, no, no, no," like he didn't dance, right? But I talked him into dancing, so that was pretty cool. And that was just the beginning of a friendship. Um, we went to, I would see him at these different events. And I remember especially hanging out with him at a Christian concert, which the Fish Channel in Atlanta, they would do it every year at the Georgia Fairgrounds, Georgia State Fairgrounds, do a great big Christian, Christian rock type of concert. And they would get all the big names to come. We saw them all. I went 2 years in a row, and I know I was hanging out with him, definitely sat with him and everything one time, maybe both, I'm not sure, but I know I brought my son with me and he was with us. And I just remember having a good time. And I also remember hanging out with him at the Greek festival one year. Um, but what really sticks in my mind about him is some of the conversations that we had. Um, because he was so different, and I love that when people are different, and I could agree with almost everything he talked about, his feelings and stuff. He's um, very spiritual, more than almost any of those Christians, that I don't like to judge or anything, but when you hang out with Christians who never really talk about, you know, God and the Bible, it's just so surface. Um, that doesn't hit me too strong, but he's one that we had some good, deep conversations, and I love that. So I want to tell you one time I was telling him about how tired I was and how I have no energy. And now I know I have this chronic Epstein-Barr disease. I didn't know that I had it back then, but I'm sure I did. I think I had it since my 30s probably. Um, but I was telling him, just like I tell my doctors, all these years I've been telling them. Uh, anyway, so he said, because what he did was he's like a holistic type, kind of a healer type of person. He did yoga instruction, and he was doing this. He went to school for a lot of things. He's very, very, very brilliant man, very highly intelligent. He really studied deeply into the Bible stuff to get his own interpretations, and I love that. Um, I've done that, but not on the same level as him. He's gone way beyond me. So, he was schooled in this um I don't know, I think he called it Energy Works, and he was saying how he could kind of free my body of some of the stuff that was holding me back and using up my energy and all that. So I went, I paid for a session, very, very professional in a place where he you know, rented space there and everything. And um, it was really interesting. He, the room was dim and I laid on the table like a massage table. He barely ever touched me, um, talked some. I think he prayed a lot, because he was quiet for a while and he said he had to prepare himself and all. And I think he was praying. Um, anyway, he kind of stood over me and, you know, whatever he did, I mean, I had my eyes closed, I don't know, but he really didn't touch me hardly at all. The only time I remember him touching me was he told me he was going to put his um, hand under the small of my back, and he might have put his other hand like on my stomach. I'm not sure, but I think so. Um, your solar plexus is there where, it's kind of the center of your body and stuff. Anyway, I think that's what he was kind of focusing on. Um, anyway, Shane, I know you're watching, so I'm sorry if I'm butchering this whole thing, but I'm just telling it from my own perspective. This is how I saw it, what I know, and also as far as anything that I say about you and what we did and everything. That's just my memories. Yours might be different, but I hope it's all good with you because it's all good with me. So I laid there quietly, and he I don't remember him asking me questions or anything, and I didn't know him on a personal level. Like I told you, we had these spiritual conversations, about God and the Bible and what we believe and that kind of thing. um, but we didn't talk about our personal lives and our past and how we grew up and how our parents and our that kind of stuff. We never had that discussion. So it's not like he knew this. But after he did his thing, whatever he did, um, it was a spiritual thing, I really believe. And he told me that I had some trauma, like kind of major trauma, happened to me when I was about 4 years old and when I was about 16. And he hit it spot on. If you watched my season 1, I talked about it, what happened when I was very young. And 4 is around the time when you start remembering the most. And 16 was definitely the time when I tried to kill myself. Um, and he felt that somehow. Um, he knew that. He also told me, which this is very personal, but I'm just putting it all out there, because I don't think it matters much anymore. Um, if it ever did, anyway. But everybody has a male and female part of them. Um, I believe, and this is what I see in the Bible, and this is me going deeper than most churches go, and most Bible studies don't go there. But I believe that it only makes sense, that God is both male and female because he created both in his image. So he is both. God is not sexual, but aside from sex, male and female are created differently, and it's all part of God. He is everything, encompasses both male and female. Um, and men and women have both in them, but I mean, I'm talking about like emotionally, psychologically, somewhat physically, maybe. I don't know exactly, that's not my expertise, but I do believe that. And I think that most of the psychologists and everybody, psychiatrists, everybody out there pretty much knows that. Uh, there's a dominant side and then there's the other side, but we have both. And he told me that my male side was very strong and I was out of balance, and that I should work on my feminine side. And that was very interesting to me because I could tell that was true when he said it, but I never thought of it before. It never occurred to me before, but when he said that, it made sense to me. And again, I put it all out there. My whole story is out there. I think it's because I had to I had to be tough and strong to survive, which is, you know, more manlike, It has nothing to do with my body because, um, I'm not like that physically. I'm not, I'm very, I'm just a small, petite, weakling kind of girl, I'm not big and strong like that, but, um, emotionally, I think I am very strong, um, more than most women probably, and more like men. I'm more like men sometimes in the way I think and all that. Never realized it till he said that, and I was like, he is so spot on. He could feel all this. He told me, um, he gave me the recommendation that I might try to work on my feminine side, build that up some. And I have been ever since then. I'm trying to be so sweet, trying to be, you know, more sweet and gentle and kind and all that, which I used to be a hard ass. I know I was in a lot of ways, to a lot of people. And I apologize if you're one of them that's watching because I wasn't always nice. And, you know, some say that's the Jersey girl in me, and that might have a lot to do with it too. But, you know, us Jersey girls, we grew up tough, and it's how we survived anyway, how I survived. So now I'm trying to be more balanced, and maybe that's coming across, I hope. Okay, so the, then I'm going to move on, I guess, to uh, and Shane still keeps in touch with me. Again, one of the very few that still keeps in touch, and I've been gone for 4 years. So, I mean, not often, I mean, like once a year, maybe we've talked, but, I do consider him a special person, and it was a blessing to meet him and know him. Maybe you come visit me sometime, Shane. Uh, I know you'll love it here. I think you belong here. This is your kind of place. So I will move on to my other friend that I wanted to talk about. And he is one that I spoke about in my second season in California. He was my friend. He was married, and I was friends with his wife also. And met him at church, at that little country church that I was going to, Seventh-day Adventist. And he had 2 kids. Uh, there was 4 couples in the church. I'm thinking five couples in the church, um, that had little kids, and they all joined right around the same time as me and Bob, and he was one of them. Okay. He uh I guess I'll call him William. Okay. um He was a biker dude, a big, husky biker dude. Um, he was an addict at one time. Um, when we met him in church, Uh, he was born again, clean, and he was very smart, very intelligent, also an engineer. He worked at Scripps Institute, which is like a big deal. And he invented things. That's what he did. And they had like 20 acres out there in the country where we lived. And uh, he and my husband hit it off right away, became good friends because they both had that, the uh, bad boy kind of wild guy, background. And his wife was different. She was she was a little younger, and she was, she seemed to me very innocent and naive. Um, she probably wasn't because she was with him, but that's the way she acted. Very quiet, very, very sweet. I mean, just pure sweetness. Um, and, yeah, I was friendly with her, but I enjoyed talking to him more because he was more open and he was one of those think out of the box kind of people, where she was more the you know follower, more the very conservative type of Christian. And I mean, we're all followers of Christ to be a Christian, but some see him in a bigger way than others, uh, in my opinion. And those are the ones that I love the most. So William, we'll call him, he was one of them. And he had been in a bad motorcycle crash years before we met him. So he was living in a lot of pain, and that's partly why he did a lot of coke um, in the past and all that. And he told us that the first time he went to church, he was really high and wearing sunglasses, but the sermon hit him, and he gave his heart to Christ that day. And so it was some years later that we met him and all. And we would hang out with him potlucks afterwards, go for little hikes and stuff, and just they were friends, close friends. He would come over after I divorced. Um, he would come over because I had the Rottweiler, and he loved my Rottweiler. Rocky was his name, and he would come over just to because he was my friend, and he would come to check on my kids, check on me, and he would ask if he could play with Rocky, and he would just wrestle and roll around in the dirt with Rocky. Um, anyway, he was a truly good friend. In fact, I told about it before, but the night that my husband told me that he was in love with another woman, I went to his house and cried on their shoulder, him and his wife, and they were there for me, comforted me, and he had this private talk with my husband, trying to talk some sense into him, but didn't do any good. Anyway, that's the kind of friend he was, right? One of those I could call in the middle of the night if I needed to, and he'd be there in a heartbeat for anything. That's a true friend. Anyhow, it was some time around now in my life when I was in the Celebrate Atlanta group, that time period, I think. Um, he couldn't take it anymore. He was living in a lot of pain, and I don't know what else happened, but he couldn't take it anymore, and he shot himself. I was so sorry. I miss him. We used to talk after I moved from California to Atlanta. Another one of those friends, like we would talk like every 2 years or something. In the beginning, probably often, but after time went on, I lived in Atlanta for 27 years. Time went on, we would talk like every 2 years, and I would call his wife or she would call me, and then if it was usually like when we were done talking and catching up, she would say, William's sitting right here, right next to me, waiting to talk to you. And she'd hand him the phone, and then I'd talk to him for another hour. Oh, I miss him. Um, I felt so bad that he didn't call me before he did that. I felt when I found out, I thought, why didn't you call me? Because we used to have such great conversations. Maybe I could have talked him out of it, but he didn't call me. All I know is that I think it was the physical pain because I know he didn't want to do the coke, and I don't know, maybe he was doing other things for pain and he was maybe addicted again. I don't know. All I know is that I know that he was living in a lot of pain, and he was such a good guy. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. God bless.